Welcome to the 290 More podcast. I appreciate you, brothers. Tam, if you could introduce yourself for my viewers and listeners.
Please, man. I'm Captain Mawaqad of the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Command of Jenny and Hannah. We have a school at 9909 Roosevelt Road. It's a school for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians to come learn their identity, their history, all of that. Learn the law, statutes, commandments. I also have a podcast called Round Table of Truth. Me and four other hosts where we talk about the different topics that affect blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And man, we just put that work in. You know what I mean?
For sure. Who you got up here with you?
Man, I'll let the brother introduce himself. Go ahead, y'all.
So I'm precinct officer.
Twist that mic a little bit for me, brother.
A little bit like this.
Yep, perfect.
Precinct officer 1000, Akariaj Bungad, and the ISUPK under Command J. Hannah, regularly under the order of Captain Mawaqad. Pouring in work on the reservations, on the ISUPK reservations with Captain Mawaqad and Captain DeBar Moth.
Damn right. Big shout out to Captain DeBar Moth, ISUPK Milwaukee.
For sure. Real good, brother.
Right.
I appreciate you coming up here. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you
your
having.
time. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right.
You definitely what the school do is definitely important for the culture,
Damn right.
for the people. You know what I'm saying? So
Damn right.
I appreciate y'all making the time to slide on me. You know what I'm saying? You've been featured on the podcast several times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I love to, you know what I'm saying, push the message as far as I could as well. So
I think the last one we did, we was in the school on 79th, I believe.
no, we was on Roosevelt. We was on Roosevelt.
Huh?
Yeah,
You did on Roosevelt?
No,
Well, the
first
first
you was
Okay.
It was because it was on Zoom.
It was on Zoom. Yeah. I remember that. Most time crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So, and now with the podcast, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys are getting even bigger reach, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
even
for sure.
within like the podcast community, you know what I'm saying? I see you guys, you know, at the 312 Awards, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even other podcasts that I know, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
that, brought to me like the interest, you know what I'm saying, of doing work with you guys as well. So
Damn right.
with that being said, I wanted to get you up here and get your full story, man. For anybody who was wondering, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna definitely get into what's going on now, but
Damn
for
right.
anybody who's like curious about you or where you come from or how it started, that story, you know what I'm
Damn
saying?
right,
So
for sure.
we're gonna start from the top. All right,
Damn right.
Where you from? Where you grew up?
Man, listen, man, I was born in Chicago, you know what I'm saying, but I was raised in Evanston, Illinois, which is a suburb up north, right out. It's adjacent to what people in Chicago might know as Rogers Park.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the Howard Street community, which is Evanston on one side and Rogers Park on the other side. So, you know, right there on the border. You know what I mean? That's where I grew up at.
For sure. So early, what was your aspirations early, like as a child, you know what I'm saying, growing up in that environment? Did you have any?
Yeah. My aspirations growing up, man, was basketball. I was a big basketball head. I was, you know, all about, you know, hooping. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing, you know what I mean? And then, you know, of course, like most young black males growing up in an urban area, you know, it kind of shifted, you know what I'm saying, to negativity, you know what I'm saying? Which means I started to gravitate to what my older cousins were doing. And they was gang banging, selling drugs. Now, I never got into the gang banging part, but the selling drugs part, I dibbled and dabbled with that. We got into a little trouble, you know what I'm saying, traveling out of town to Iowa. I had caught a felony case carrying drugs in Iowa, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And we're gonna get into all that. So,
Yeah, for sure.
So if you don't mind me asking, how was your family dynamic? You know what I'm saying? Was it mom, dad, sister, brother, or what was the household like?
Mom, single mom. I had a older sister and a younger brother, you know what I mean? But you know, I had a stepfather as well, but he came a little later, you know what I'm saying? But mainly, you know, single mother, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Right.
Now, you know what I'm saying, you said outside, you know what I'm saying, outside, was it like, what, how was your household? Was it a strict household? Was you one way in the house and a different way outside? Or what was it? What was it like that?
Well, my mother, you know what I'm saying, she was real strict. You know, she was on me, you know what I'm saying? You know, my older cousins, my other cousins that was my age, they was be able to do a little bit freer, have a little bit more freedom than I did. But my mom, man, she was on me, man. You know what I mean? She did not play. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know.
For sure. Now,
Yep.
a question I just like to ask my guests, you know what I'm saying, is on the music side, you know what I'm saying, because I'm a big music dude, you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
What was you listen to coming up, you know what I'm saying? What was you a fan of? What was being played in the household? All that
This
stuff.
guy next to me here, he think he a rapologist. Man, listen, who I like coming up, man. Tupac, of course. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, Master P. I used to listen to a lot of Master P. Same old guys, you know what I mean? Everybody, a lot of Wu-Tang. I used to listen to a ton of Wu-Tang, Raekwon, Ghostface Killer. You know what I'm saying? And of course, for Chicago, Psychodrama. A lot of guys from the West Side, Crucial Conflict. What's the one guy I used to listen to? Not Psychodrama. Damn, what's them cats, man? Snipers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So different variety, you know what I mean? People, you listen to coming up. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, what I asked you about your family dynamic,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And being who you are now today, you know what I'm saying? What was it religious wise or the faith wise in the household? Like what was you raised as?
I would say, we was Christians, but we ain't go to church. Like a lot of black people, you know what I mean? Even though they don't go to church, they still have a lot of Christian beliefs, but we didn't go to church on the regular. Only time I ever went to church was during Easter. My grandmother, you know what I mean? She was like the matriarch, you know what I mean, of the family. And so she never took my mom. So my mom, she never took us, you know what I'm saying? Which was a good thing now that I know the truth. So I didn't grow up in the church at all. But of course I believed in, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, like the normal, person growing up in America.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Now another thing I want to ask you, like you had mentioned, like you dabble with the drugs, but you stayed away from the gangs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I as a black man myself that grew up in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? And even like the border towns, it's basically the same thing, you know what I'm saying? How was it for you? How did you stay, you know what I'm saying, away from the gangs?
Man, what made me stay away is that I had friends that was in opposite gangs. And I never wanted to join one, and now I can't mess with the other cats, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I started my own clique in high school. I think we call ourselves pill players or something, you know what I mean? And so I was able to, kind of deal with, you know what I mean, with both sides. I just ain't never believe in I'm about to become an enemy to some cats I grew up with. You know what I mean? I had that spirit from young. So I just, my cousins, they was vice lords, but then my friends, they was GDs. I just said I ain't want to get, even though you could be guilty by association,
For sure.
I just never officially joined. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Now, let's talk about high school. You know what I'm saying? What was high school? I always say like high school was some of my funnest times of my life.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So what was high school like? You know what I'm saying? Did you have a blueprint on what you wanted to do in life in high school? 'Cause I think back in my high school times, I used to constantly think that, like, I used to be like, I couldn't imagine being an adult. Like, I couldn't see my life past, you know what I'm saying, childhood, adolescence. So what was going on for you during that time?
Man, I went to Evanston Township High School, and for anybody that live up north, whether you in the suburbs or the city, know Evanston Township was no joke. You know what I'm saying? It was basically a fashion show. You went to school, you know what I mean, just for the fashion, of course, the females or whatever. So like I stated before, I started off playing basketball, for my freshman year. That ain't last too long. You know what I mean? A lot of distractions. I wasn't on top of my grades. Now your grades ain't together, you can't play.
Sure.
So then I started, hanging with the knuckleheads, and that's when the selling drugs started to come. You know what I mean? We used to basically come to school to sell drugs, not do no homework. How I graduated to this day, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We would be drunk, and my best friend was the weed man. So we went to school high. At lunchtime we got high. After school we got high. I was just high. You know what I'm saying? The whole high school.
Years.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And got into the selling drugs, and that was pretty much it. Once I put the basketball down, I picked up that avenue. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So now you said why you didn't mess with the gangs too tough.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? One could have them same feelings toward the drugs. You know
for sure.
What drugs did you know what I'm saying? How did you get into the selling drugs, and what made you make that decision?
Man, it's a crazy story, because now my partners, they I was always like the last one to do something. You know what I mean? So I started off with the weed. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I'm gonna tell you what happened. I had got into a serious car accident out of town in the summertime and I had got like a settlement from it. And when I got the settlement, you know what I'm saying, I took some of the money that I had and went and got some drugs, went and bought some crack and bought some weed, you know what I'm saying? So I said, I'm gonna sell both. I thought I was a king. You see what I'm saying? So that's what really started my career, you know what I mean? And for us, it was a way to keep up with the gear. Cause once again, you ain't come with Average Township, you ain't come with the proper gear, or you was getting talked about. So we used the hustling to, you know what I'm saying, keep our clothes up, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, when you got into it, you know what I'm saying, you had these kingpin dreams, you know what I'm saying, you hitting the road with it, you know what I'm saying. What was your mindset? Like, was you like, I'm a one last sale and I'm gonna get out, or one big sale, or you was just making it a career at that point?
Well, you know, once I graduated high school, it was like, you know, what you gonna do with your life? You know, well, thank God I got myself together my senior year and graduated, but then it was like, what you gonna do next? And at that time, like I said, my oldest cousins, all them, they was hustling. I mean, real hustling, you know what I'm saying? So I decided that I'm gonna get into it serious. And so a ton of my cousins had moved to Des Moines, Iowa. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think it's just cornfields out there, but meanwhile, it was money out there. So me and my best friend, we went out there and started basically going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we would get on the Greyhound, or we'd send females on the Greyhound. It started to pick up. You know what I'm saying? And get major. You know what I'm saying? So we would go out there, just, man, do our thing. You know what I'm saying? And before you know it, I end up, you know, getting a case. You know what I'm saying? From, you know what I mean, from doing something I know I ain't had no business doing. You know what I mean? So that's basically once I graduated high school, I got serious into hustling. You know what I'm saying? Going out of town.
For sure. Now it's fast money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let me ask you this.
Yeah.
A lot of things can happen from that business, you know what I'm saying? Robberies, killings, you know what I'm saying? A bad batching, you know what I'm saying? All type of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you have any fear during this time? Like when you was like
Nah, I ain't, you know, not at all. When you in the midst of it, you know what I'm saying? I would say initially I ain't had no fear, but once we started to, you know, deal with, I would say, big quantity of drugs, of course, a little fear creep in. I can remember when I was in Iowa, being in the house and we bagging up all the drugs, and I can just remember being paranoid about the feds kicking in the door. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say is the more and more we got bigger with it, I started to, you know what I mean, had some fear about, you know, I used to be paranoid, you know what I'm saying, about them kicking in the door. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So when they got up with you, you know what I'm saying? Do you remember how that happened? Like, was it a broken tail light? Was it driving while black? Like,
listen, normally, like I said before, we actually would transport it through
Greyhound.
on the Greyhound. But this particular time, I can't remember what happened. We decided we was gonna take it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So my partner, my best friend at the time, he had a blue Chevy Malibu, you know what I'm saying? And we took the drugs, we put it in the trunk. I can't remember about the battery, somewhere in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? Not the trunk, excuse me, the hood. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember, man, like it was yesterday, we rode, you know what I'm saying, traveling, I want to say 80 West, I want to say. And I remember the whole time we bumping Tupac the whole way, smoking on Dro. At that time they call it Dro, you know what I'm saying? Getting high as a kite.
That's definitely no fear. You know, I never understood how people would take them trips and then be smoking weed on like, bro, you can't.
Right. You know, a knucklehead. You know what I'm saying? And I remember we pulled into a rest stop, and when we pulled into the rest stop, the state troopers was right there. And they was on us. The minute we pulled in that rest stop, they was on us. You know what I'm saying? So I remember my partner, he was asleep. I ended up waking him up, and I'm like, man, these peoples, man, they own us. You know what I'm saying? So I went to the bathroom. I came back. He jumped in the driver's seat, and we pulled off. They trailed us the whole way. Now, mind you, you know, I'm 19 at the time or whatever. I'm paranoid, and I did the dumbest thing that you could do. I looked back. I turned to look back, you know what I'm saying? When I did that, they pulled us over. You know what I'm saying?
Now, did you have to sit down behind that, or did you?
They initially, I think we was in there for like maybe 2 months. They had my cousin at the time. He was hustling. He was getting to a little bit of change, so he was able to get us a lawyer. And but they wouldn't let us out. You know what I'm saying? Because people from Chicago was going down there catching cases, and they had bail out, and then they would never come back. So they wouldn't let us get out unless my partner, his father, had to put up the deed to his house in order for us to be able to bail out.
Yeah. Now, was that a wake up call for you? Was you out of the game at that point?
Yeah.
Smarter afterward. Like what was?
Well, I stopped hustling. You know what I'm saying? I ain't stopped smoking weed though. You know what I'm saying? But I remember, like it was yesterday, the judge. You know what I'm saying? Because the case it carried some years. You know what I'm saying? We was fortunate that it didn't go federal, right? So I remember the judge telling us, if y'all get caught with a joint, we bringing y'all back up here. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah.
So that was it after that.
Yeah, probation. You know what I'm saying? Probation. I had to pay restitution.
So you never dabbled with the drugs again after that, as far as selling?
Nah, not selling. You know, I think I might have did like once or twice. You know what I'm saying? But I basically was done with it after that. I'll tell you a funny story if I could.
For sure.
When I had went back home, you know, of course my partners, they was still hustling. And so, but I would tell them, man, listen, if y'all got drugs in y'all, I'm not riding in the car with y'all. You know what I'm saying? But now once again, I would get high. So I mean, one day we up north, we on the north side, and I can't remember where we was, and my partner, man, he just pulled. I can't remember where he pulled the drugs from, but he had about 50 bags of weed on him in his lap, right? I said, man, I told y'all, man, you know what I'm saying? I say, listen, when you get to this corner, man, let me, and I'm way far from the crib. I'm like, man, let me out. He looked at me and said, man, you serious, man? I said, I'm dead serious. When you get to this corner, let me out. Man, he got to that corner, he let me out. I think I had to catch the train to the crib.
Damn.
Yeah.
So was that your only way? Was hustling your only way of working? Like, did you work a regular job at that point?
Yeah. Well, yeah. After that, I started working a regular job. I even my young brother was coming up. My younger brother, he was coming up after me. He was hooping. He was playing ball. You know what I'm saying? And so not only did I stop hustling, go get a job, I also started coaching basketball as well. You know what I mean? So, and I coached youth basketball for about 15 years. Yeah.
So now, when you know what I'm saying, once you stop.
I'm sorry. Let me.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Mute this thing here. Okay, there we go.
Now, as a young man, you know what I'm saying, as you become a young man, you working, getting money, did you start to create your own family for yourself? And then, you know what I'm saying, if you don't mind sharing, you know what I'm saying, how did that situation, you know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, I coached the basketball for 15 years, man. That was a big part of my life. You know, coaching basketball, and my brother was coming up, and I would train kids and stuff like that. I had kind of like turned towards a positive route, you know what I mean? Basketball was my world. So then around I want to say about when I was 27, I had my first son or whatever, and you know, so yeah. Yeah.
For sure. So now, you know what I'm saying, and let me ask you about coaching basketball.
Go ahead.
About the coaching basketball part.
Yeah.
How was that? Did you feel like, you know what I'm saying, of course it was like a better personal change, but did you feel like at that time, did you feel like you was making a difference in the kid's life as well, or it was just a job to you?
Absolutely. It started with my brother, you know what I mean? He was playing it, and the first year I coached him, we had won the championship. So I said, okay, I said I'm kind of good at this. Eventually I became the head coach, and I was very successful at what I did. I won championships, and all that. It was a basketball league called FAM, in Evanston or whatever. And I was very successful with training players, my teams winning. I coached AAU, all through the city, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I definitely felt like I was changing lives, you know what I mean? So that was my world right there.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, right.
And when did that end?
That ended, I want to say, right before I came into the truth. I started, I want to say around 2000 and, I want to say 2008, 2009, I started looking at videos on YouTube. And that's when I came across the Israelite, learning about what it is to be an Israelite. And so I don't know, I had a war going on, like the coaching. I wanted to do the coaching, but this Israelite, you know, I felt like it was my calling. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, man, I did the coaching for a while, and then I'm in my last year I was coaching. I was like, I can't do this no more because my love for learning the truth, and I knew I was going to be a cat that was going to teach the truth. I said, I want to put my dedication towards this. So my last year coaching the kids, I wasn't even there. Like my mind wasn't even there. And I said to myself that if I'm not going to be 10 toes down with this, I don't want to cheat the kids. So once it was my last year, I think my last year coaching was 2009, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? Then I jumped into learning more about what it is to be an Israelite.
For sure.
Yeah.
And let's get into that. Let's get into that. You know what I'm saying? Get into you finding the truth. Now, do you remember the first YouTube video you seen? Do you remember what school it was or what camp or any of that?
You know what? I was chilling at the crib one day. I was a stay-at-home father at the time, so I had all the time in the world. I was getting high actually at the time. And my son, I would take my son, sit him in his car seat or something he would sit in, and I would turn on the cartoons for him, and then I had a room that I could go in. It was a glass door, so I was still able to look at him, but I would go in there, get high, and turn on the videos. And one day I just put in YouTube, who are black people? Because I wasn't satisfied on, you know, what they had told us who we were. I felt like we was something. I wanted to know like what specific tribe, or they saying we from Africa. All right, well, cool. I want to know exactly where we come from. So I put in there in the YouTube thing, who are black people, and that's when all the Israelite stuff came. Yeah, real talk. You know what I mean? And so from there, I can't remember the exact first video that I seen, but that was my introduction into watching the Israelites teaching on the corner and people talking about black people being the real Jews and all that. I had never seen or heard that before, so it intrigued me. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, I end up coming across the ISUPK and seeing Commander Jenny Hunter, and the way they taught was a little bit different from everybody else. And oh man, Shalak,
no problem.
Turn this thing off.
Welcome to Chicago, man.
Oh yeah, I already know. I'm turning this off because I don't know if this thing keep coming calm. Shalak, where I was at with it.
One second. Put my jaw. All right. Yeah, we was talking about how you found the truth.
Yeah.
So you wasn't specifically ISUPK.
No, not at first. Not at first. I would watch everybody. You know what I'm saying? All the different camps and all that, and but the one that caught my attention the most, was the ISUPK. I started to mentally and spiritually gravitate towards the ISUPK, and I remember they had a temple on. I was telling y'all this story the other day. They had a temple on Howard Street, Israelite temple. I had went in there, and I just wasn't. It ain't sit right with me. Something wasn't right. And the cat who had brought me to the temple, when I went in the temple, I talked to the head of the temple or whatever, and one thing he said to me that threw me off. He said they allowed Jewish white people to come in there. I already, from watching the tapes, I knew something was off. And then I said, oh, okay. And then the people were just weird looking, you know what I'm saying? So when I left up out of there, the cat who brought me to the temple, he was outside smoking a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? Now by this time I knew that was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? And then after a while, I just started watching the ISUBK just period. You know what I'm saying? And so, yep.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, when you type that question and you first start seeing the videos of the brothers and stuff like that, what was your first like feelings, emotions? Because I remember when I first came across it, it was some brothers on 95th.
Okay.
I don't know what camp they was on, but it was wild. It was probably like 2005. They was on 95th, and they was like had the talking about the white man, the devil, all that. And I never heard it before, but like they had the Bible, and they was like prove it. And my initial reaction was like, my grandma and them didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like they was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So like I felt like a big part of what I was taught was like all wrong. My family got it all wrong, you know what I'm saying? So what was your initial feelings when you typed that in and you start seeing this stuff?
Man, my initial feelings when I started seeing it and seeing them pull the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, like when I seen them pull Deuteronomy 28:68 talking about us coming over here on slave ships and just different things that I would hear them talk about, I just said, well, this shit, this is the truth. You know what I'm saying? I say, you know, if I ever been in, and I was in search for the truth for a while. You know what I'm saying? I looked into the Moors, I looked into Farrakhan and them, I looked into all that, and none of it, you know, sat right with me. But when I started seeing what these Israelite brothers were saying about us being the chosen people and the reason why we suffer so much in America is because our disobedience to God and different scriptures that they were showing that fit what we was living, I said, oh, this the truth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So, you know, you just watching the videos online, you know what I'm saying? The temple rode you the wrong way, so you strictly ISUBK videos. Because I'm assuming it wasn't a Chicago school at that time.
No. It was just
how do you make the physical, you know what I'm saying, connection?
Well, somewhere down the road, I don't want to leave this part out. Even though I was gravitating towards being an Israelite and the truth, the woman I was with at the time, she wasn't. So she eventually put me out. And
for that?
Huh?
For that? Because
because of the truth. Well, you know, it was other, you know, problems that we had, but you know, that was it. You know, I remember I was on the back porch, you know what I'm saying? Because even though I wasn't in the truth, I knew it. And I remember I started teaching. Even though I was still getting high, I would be on the back porch teaching the brothers as we getting high. And I remember one day she had pulled back the curtain and was watching me teach the brothers on the back porch. And she looked at me and just started shaking her head like, you know what I'm saying? And so we was just on two opposite, you know, paths. And then eventually we bump heads. What it was, I had found out birthdays was off, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't go to my daughter's birthday and we clashed after that, you know what I'm saying? And so she put me out. I ended up going to stay with a partner of mine in the world. And what got me into the UBK was they started promoting their Passover. And so I picked up the phone. I talked to General Haas. At that time, he was a captain. And I told him I wanted to come to the Passover. And he said, are you in classes? Are you in the UBK? I told him, I said, I feel like I'm already in the UBK. He said, well, get in class. So from there, I got in class, and from there, since then, it's been on the pop.
Now,
you know
this was on the East Coast, right? Did you have to relocate? Was you already?
No, I was calling. I didn't have to I did eventually move to Philly, but at this particular time, I would take the classes through the Skype. They, you know, remember back in the day they had the Skype. So yeah, I would take the classes through the Skype. I would just listen to them, and we had questions we could ask and stuff like that. So that's how I started off. You know what I mean?
For sure. Now, you know what I'm saying? You said your old rib. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That ended. You know what I'm saying? Then you told the story about the birthday party.
Yeah.
So what was everybody else's reaction? You know what I'm saying? To it, you know what I'm saying? When you weren't showing up to like OG birthday or sister birthday, like what was everybody else's reaction to your change?
Man, well, you know, Evanston is a small knit town, so everybody's initial action is this nigga done went crazy. You know what I'm saying? I started growing my beard, which is, you know, a man got a beard, but growing it, you know, and then I started growing my hair out. And people would run into me, and when they say me, they were like, "Man, you all right, man? What's going on?" Like they in their mind, I didn't lost my mind. So that's how people would approach me. Man, I heard you, you know what I'm saying? You know, you been changing and stuff, man. Everything good with you? That's how they would talk to me like I was on drugs.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'll be saying, man, I'm good, man. What's happening? You know, I'm good. You know what I mean? So everybody's initial action was like, this nigga going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Now you found the truth, you know what I'm saying? You in classes. Was it easy? Was it easy? Like, did you ever think to yourself, like you even mentioned, like still smoking weed and preaching, you know what I'm saying? Did you ever like have a thought to yourself like, maybe this probably ain't it, or
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Or like what was the biggest hurdles to get over?
Well, the weed was the biggest hurdle. And of course it was rough at first, but what helped me finally kick the weed was, even though she had put me out the house, I would still deal with her. You know what I mean? And they had went and moved and got another crib. But I remember one night, I had got high, and I had went to their crib, and I went because I wanted to have sex with her. And she turned me down, you know what I'm saying, from the sex. And it was that day that was my last day ever smoking weed. And what made me stop is because I realized, even though this woman had done this evil to me, the getting high would make me want to have sex with her. You see what I'm saying? And I said, and so I felt so low that day when she turned me down. She wouldn't even let me in the crib. And I said that was my last day. I remember walking from her crib all the way to the red line. You know what I'm saying? And it was the longest walk of my life. And I could not. I said to myself, you know, I ain't never felt so low, and I couldn't wait to come down off that high. It seemed like it took forever for me to come down off this high, but I wanted to come down off the high. I no longer liked how it made me feel. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Now you did also mention, you know what I'm saying, searching for the truth. Through other, you talked about the Moors and Islam and stuff like that. What was your relationship or feelings toward the Bible before like finding the truth? Like,
you know what's crazy is I never was a Bible person. You know what I'm saying? I can remember you know, the time I had told you I got locked up for the little drug case. Of course, you know, when you go in there, first thing you want to do is open up a Bible. So, you know, I remember opening it up and reading it. To me, it was like a book you would just read to, you know, I don't know, to feel good. You know what I'm saying? But so I never really researched it or whatever. But then once I started learning about, you know, being an Israelite and learning the truth, then now it all made sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
Now, now you eventually was. So I assume you made it to that Passover. You went to that Passover.
Yeah, I went to that Passover, and man, that Passover, it was man. This brother asking some amazing questions, man. But I made it to the Passover, and at that time, the Passover was in Abba Harbin. What is it called? Was it Abba Harbin Ballroom? It's the place where Malcolm X got actually killed.
Yeah, that's it. Sound familiar?
It's I can't remember the actual name. Like it was a place where he got killed, and at that time, man, it might have been maybe 30 people there. You know what I'm saying? So
30 people
maybe
compared to now.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Yeah, that's yup. And so I remember walking in there, seeing the brothers. You know, what I mean, I'm a trooper, so I'm dressed in my all black, and man, these cats looked like straight up angels to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the garments they in and all this shit, and I just was taking everything in. You know what I'm saying? And I remember telling General Haas or whatever, I was like, man, listen, I'm gonna go back. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna bring some brothers back up here with me. You know what I'm saying? To the next Passover or whatever. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it was glorious. I got to meet Commander General Yohana. I was a little nervous, or whatever. I remember one cat that was there, he was from Florida. Man, this cat was tearing this wine up. They had some wine at the table. I'm like, man, you might want to slow down on this wine. Man, this nigga was drunk as I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? That was one memory from the joint. But yeah, I had a hell of a time.
How did the school handle a situation like that?
Yeah. Well, you know, brother, you know what I mean? We just, if a brother, you know, overly drunk, you know what I'm saying? Brothers escort them back to their room or whatever. You know what I mean? So we got men, you know what I mean, that, you know, we deal with, we be patient with men. You know, if somebody come to a Passover, you say they had too much, time to have some brothers escort him back to his room, go up there to his room, he can sleep it off. You know what I'm saying?
So, is it wrong? Is that wrong? Like, are they not at fault, but like, are you not supposed to get to that point? Like, is it wrong to even get to that point?
Well, you know, of course, it ain't. According to the Bible, it's not wrong to drink alcohol. Right. But of course, if it overcome you, you know what I'm saying, to where you acting out of body, you know what I'm saying, to where you know, you're not having any discipline, then you know what I'm saying, you know, it's probably best to, you know what I mean, just go to your room and just chill, you know what I'm saying, so you don't do something that you would embarrass yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Now, how do you eventually get to the East Coast?
So this time I go back home, and I was a trooper, but then I eventually came what we call in the IHBK officer of 50.
Still no physical school.
Still no physical school. I'm dealing with Captain Mashak. I'm making videos. I used to have one of my friends. I used to coach with. He was big into, like, you know, rapping and shooting movies and all that. Big shout out to Mac Mall. And he would, I would do make like tapes where I would teach on different topics or whatever, and put the tapes out, and that was that. And then eventually, my job I was working at the time, they had fired me, and so I'm like, damn, what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I was renting out a room in Evanston from this lady. It was like $300 a month for this room, and the room, brother, was half the size of this room. The only thing that could fit in there was a bed and a dresser. And only thing I used to do was sit in that room and study. I had a bed, a dresser, and a lamp. I was sitting there and study all night. And so when they fired me from my job, I called the brothers down to IHBK, talked to General Muhammad. I said, man, I love y'all brothers, man. What do you think about me moving down there? I want to get down there and be amongst the brothers, because, you know, I'm here, but I'm by myself. At that time, it was nobody in Chicago. It was nobody in the Midwest at all. So he said, man, yeah, you come on down. You know what I'm saying? So I eventually moved to the East Coast, Philadelphia.
For sure.
Yeah.
So have you ever been to the East Coast?
Never been. I think I traveled to the East Coast. I had went up there with my cousin. We went to New York and DC, but Philly I never had been to. You know what I'm saying?
Philly, that's like the rough part out of New York and all that. So
real talk.
What was some of the biggest differences, you know what I'm saying, when you made that, when you relocated? Chicago and Philly.
Philly, you know what I'm saying? Philadelphia is a rough place. You know what I'm saying? But you know, me growing up in Howard Street is a rough community in itself. So I wasn't too thrown off by it, you know what I'm saying? But because I grew up in Evanston, you know what I'm saying, I was used to being around black people and white people. Now when I get to Philly, all you see is niggas everywhere throughout the whole city, you know what I'm saying? And so it was a slight adjustment, you know what I'm saying, but I was cool, you know what I'm saying? I was good to go.
So you get there, like, did you have a plan or a goal in mind? Did the brothers lay out, you know what I'm saying, like, this what you gonna do, this how you gonna, or was it just, you know what I'm saying, you just fell in line? Like,
well, initially I didn't have a plan. My initial thing was to just move there. You know what I'm saying? I'll be lying to you if I said, well, I'm gonna move there and come back. You know, that wasn't my initial plan. Was to just move down there and just, you know, learn, get it on. You know what I'm saying? And it was rough though. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to leave out the part, man. You know, I got, at the time when I moved, I had 2 small children. My son was 4 and my daughter was 1. And I remember, you know what I'm saying, walking my son to the daycare. He ain't know I was on my way to Greyhound. I say, son, you know, I'm gonna be gone for a little bit or whatever the case may be, and but daddy gonna be back to see you. You know what I'm saying? He don't know, you know what I'm saying? So I dropped him. But the brother, when I dropped him on my way to the Greyhound, man, I cried like a baby. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew I ain't know when I was gonna see him again, but I knew that I had to take this. I had to make this move. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Damn right.
So
damn right.
So you get down there. Well, you get on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And did you automatically feel like the difference from being in school physically from just doing it on Skype like that?
Oh yeah.
Is that a different dynamic as well?
Man, listen. When I first got down there, you got to remember, man. The truth, been the truth. IHBK since 1969, but for me, you know what I'm saying. The truth was young in my eyes or whatever. So when I went down there and at the these is cats that I used to watch on YouTube. I'm sitting with them now. Mm-hmm. So it's like you being around some NBA stars or movie stars that you sitting there chilling in the room with these cats. Mm-hmm. So for me at that time, I was just in amazement of just being around these cats. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And of course you see that they after a while you get to rolling with them. They regular brothers like you. You know what I'm saying? But at first, man, I was in all these brothers. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Now, you obviously move up in the school, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where was that always like, did you just always have that fire? Like, I'm going to just keep moving up? Because I know like brother can stay in the school and stay at a certain position, but what made you, you know what I'm saying, continue to rise?
Oh, man, some things in life, 290, man, I just knew this shit was my purpose. And I just put 100% zeal into it. You know what I'm saying? The brothers I was around, the brotherhood that they showed me. I don't know. It's what came natural to me. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like you asked me before, everybody be searching for what they want to do in life. You know what I'm saying? And you might want to be a basketball player, singer, whatever, but you know what I'm saying? And when you finally hit that niche, like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And once I got into school, I knew this was what I was supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Because from when I was a kid, when I was a child all the way up and before I got into the school, cats would always tell me, man, you're gonna be a preacher, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I used to have dreams before I even got into the truth, knew about the Israelite. I used to always have dreams of teaching. I would be sitting at a table teaching, but I can't remember what I was teaching. Mm. So much so that I thought, okay, well, this must be the Lord trying to show me that I'm supposed to be teaching in the white man's school. Mm. But when I tried to get in there, I couldn't because the felony I had, they don't let felons be around no kids. Mm-hmm. So I say, well, damn, but I kept having these goddamn dreams, and but the minute I got into school, I say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And it's like any man, once you know that this is what you're supposed to be doing, then man, the zeal is you just do the work. Mm-hmm. I was just doing the work. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
you doing the work, you know what I'm saying? You ranking up.
Yep.
How does the Midwest region happen? Like, do you go to the general, like, I think I can, you know what I'm saying, open up the Midwest, do the general just give you that task, or like, how does that happen?
Well, what happened was I was still on the East Coast, and a few brothers had popped. While I was on the East Coast, a few brothers had popped up. I think Captain Kapash in Indianapolis, and I want to say Quinayala out in Minnesota. Excuse me. I think those was the only two brothers at that time, and the school would have those brothers report to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then what happened was I was on the East Coast for 3 years. So the first 2 years, it was cool, but that third year, I got homesick. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I got tired of people asking me, man, where you from? You know what I'm saying? And it was small stuff like we say pop. You know what I'm saying? So I would say pop up there, and they like, you mean what is a pop? You know what I'm saying? No, it's a soda. You know what I'm saying? So once I got homesick, I was like, I went to the generals. I'm like, man, I think I'm ready to move back home. You know what I'm saying? And take the truth back home or whatever. And they had a council about it. It wasn't like when I went to them, they was like, all right, go ahead. No, they didn't want to let me go because at that particular time, every brother in the camp was an integral part to the camp. You know this, Karyash. Is every brother is a piece. It's like a piece to a car. So you just can't just remove a piece. It'll mess up the whole body. Not to say that I'm ultra important, but You know what I'm saying? So I remember they had a council about it, and then they said, all right, you know what I'm saying? They said, you know, we're gonna let you go ahead and move back home. And that's when I moved back home. You know what I'm saying? That third year.
Now, when they had council, is that when they decided for you to open up a school or start the school, or how did the? Because and you can kind of talk about the inception of the school, because I heard like it started in like in the library, right?
Yeah, well, yeah,
like that.
Yeah, well, you know, like we tell brothers in the truth, like if it ain't no physical building, you know, you out of school. You know what I mean? So when I'm on my way back home, Officer Ra'am, the brother here originally from Maryland, but he had moved to Chicago to get in school or whatever. So when I moved back, you know what I'm saying, it was a rough deal. You know what I'm saying? I stayed different places, you know what I'm saying? I moved with a friend who I grew up with in the world, and stayed with my brother. Man, before we actually got to school, brother, it was a rough one. You know what I'm saying? I stayed at this crib, that crib. I even was homeless for a couple of days. I ain't tell the generals, you know what I'm saying? But I was catching the red line back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And eventually I got into a homeless shelter. And then so what the homeless shelter would do was they would take like 70% of your money that you would get, your check, and then they would put it towards you getting a place. So by the time I think 3 or 4 months, my time was up. They had got me a little apartment on the north side, and I was good to go. You know what I'm saying? And so that was like the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But it still wasn't no school. I would go to the library, Harold Washington Library downtown, and just wait for somebody to come. Now, you know, in Harold Washington, they ain't gonna let you into none of the classroom spots unless you got like 2 people with you. So it was days I would come, nobody would show up. And just kind of speed along, Officer Captain DeBar Moth and Officer Lamakiala, they end up moving to Chicago. And when they moved to Chicago, you know what I'm saying, that's when we got it on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
For sure. And still talking about like the inception of Chicago school.
Yeah. Sure.
If you could, you know what I'm saying, just talk to us how you met a couple of brothers, you know what I'm saying, that's just been with the Chicago school from day one, like you mentioned, like
well, I want to make sure I you know, mention these brothers. When I first moved back, like I said, it was Officer Ra'am, this brother from Rockford, Officer Adama, and it was a trooper. Now Adama, he not in the school, but he eventually always make his way back. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was it started off myself, Ryan, Adama, and this trooper named Atazai. Atazai is no longer in the school. So it was us 4. And we ain't had no camp equipment, no nothing. We used to go downtown on State in Washington and open up a Bible, and we used to just get to teaching right there. No camp equipment, just a Bible.
Now, y'all first time on the street teaching, what was the reaction from the people? Like, what was
we had a lot of battles, a lot of disagreements and all that, but because I had been on the East Coast for 3 years, I used to go to camp in Philly. We used to do camp in Philly. I've been to camp in Times Square. I've been to camp in Harlem. So by this time, I was somewhat seasoned. You know what I'm saying? So it really didn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? But typical reaction, people looking crazy and talking. Shut up. But none of that really fazed me. You know what I'm saying? So right. I was intent on building the school. You know what I'm saying? In Chicago.
And how did the building of the school go? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you could just talk to, eventually getting into the building and just the growth of the brothers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, was you just snatching brothers, like literally coming off the street, walking up to you, or brothers like telling they seen you online? Like, how did the school up to grow?
Well, I mentioned those 4 brothers, Rhyme, Adama, and Atazai. So what happened was, again, Captain DeBar Moth and Officer Lamar Yala, they moved from Oregon to Chicago. When they moved, things started to shake. So we was in the library, and so many brothers started coming to class. This brother as well, Officer Karyash, to where we was so deep in that library that we was like, man, we got to get a building. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it took us 5. We searched for a building, and we eventually end up finding a building on 79th and Ingleside. Get me right on that.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which is south, but I think a lot of people consider it over east. Rough neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you know what I mean? We went in there and that was our first school.
For sure.
Yep.
Now, like now you're ahead over the whole Midwest, correct?
Yep.
So was that in that council did the generals also say that they make that at that time, or did it be like it became so big and he was like, we're gonna make you the head?
It was either before I left to come back to Chicago, or it was when I had moved back. I remember them. I think it was General High. Somebody called me and just said they was like, everybody from the Midwest gonna report to you. You know what I'm saying? And at that point in time, I had so much zeal. I was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to conquer the world. That was my mindset at the time. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm conquering everything, moving, whatever work they gonna throw to me, man. I'm taking it. Like the Bob Moff, he was in Oregon. How me and him hooked up was he wasn't even reporting to nobody at the time. Now you know Oregon ain't in the Midwest. I called the general like, man, I want to take Oregon too. I'd have took all 50 states at that time. You see what I'm saying? So yeah.
For sure. Now, you know what I'm saying? In the Chicago school, you know what I'm saying? In Chicago, got a history with gangs, violence, and drugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you bring the school into the neighborhood, what was the neighborhood's reaction to
the neighborhood's reaction? You know, they really at first they didn't really know how to take us. You know what I'm saying? But after a while, they got comfortable with us. And to be honest with you, we didn't really get a lot of people from the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It was more brothers just coming from different parts of Chicago into the school or whatever. And as far as the neighborhood, you know what I mean, we always fed them. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we would cook or we would do food drives and all that. So the people in the neighborhood, they accepted us and all that. But it was a rough neighborhood. Like the building that we was in, get me right on this, Karyaj, that joint was like the Carter. Okay, they was in there selling drugs, heroin, goddammit, selling, I want to say they was selling box. Had the women selling box in that joint. The cats would be out there toting guns, it was shootouts. Man, it was a rough area, which eventually made us had to move because it had got so bad over there. I was like, I can't have these brothers and sisters over in this type of environment. And so that's when we eventually moved to Westchester out on 9909 Roosevelt Road. You know, man, yeah.
So now let's get into the school, you know what I'm saying? More the truth, you know what I'm saying? So anybody who like familiar with ISPK, you know what I'm saying, know what you all believe and what you teach.
Yeah.
When you got back to Chicago and started building up the school, was there any other camps in Chicago, and did you guys like put out a call like we here and if you need to come to the truth, or you know what I'm saying, like what was the reactions from the other camps if there was any?
Yeah, I didn't when I got back I don't remember really hearing about no camps. Now, but when I got back though, I remember hearing, oddly enough, a lot of black people in Chicago know about being Israelites.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of black people. And so I used to not really know camp, but I used to remember hearing about this cat named Brother Bowie on the south side. I would always hear people talk about Brother Bowie and you know, and so yeah. But as far as camps, I really didn't really hear too much about no camp. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
But it was other camps in Philly though, right?
Yeah. You know, you had the GMS and you hear IUIC and Candy Cane, GOC, but I really didn't see him in Chicago. You know what I mean? Not at that time when I first came back.
Any pushbacks from any other religious institutions like the churches or the synagogues or anything like that?
Nah, we ain't had no pushback. Like I said, I remember hearing about Brother Bowie, and him having some temple on the south side or whatever. I eventually had a conversation with some of his members from his church or whatever, and tried to set up a debate. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't really want no smoke. You know what I'm saying? Because the conversation we had, these brothers, I seen that they didn't know the Bible. You know what I'm saying? I was cutting them right then and there, you know what I'm saying? So they definitely ain't want no debate. You know what I mean? So, but other than that, nah, you know what I'm saying? We I don't really remember no pushback. Of course the normal pushback, you know what I'm saying, from oh y'all crazy and all that, but nobody really got in our way. You know what I'm saying?
Now I know if I got the time wrong, probably like last summer or something. Like I know the Indianapolis school had a terrorist incident where somebody drove the car or something into the school.
A woman, she it was right around the time when they had that the Palestinians and the Israelis was having a war with each other. So this lady here was I want to say a Palestinian, and she seen the what we call the Shield of David. She seen that outside the school and decided to back her car into the building, whatever, into the Indianapolis school building. Yeah.
And we real close to Indianapolis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chicago is a city where a lot of protests, they do a lot of protests related to that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So have you guys faced any, you know what I'm saying, like any backlash or attention from people thinking that you guys are somehow related to?
You remember
anything like us as a school? As a school, nah.
Like being out the camp, nah. When we be out the camp, you know what I mean, because we follow protocol. Normally when people do protest like that, we don't go. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? Just to, you know, let them do their thing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I know I think maybe once, you know, they might have been protesting, but they ain't really say nothing to us. And nah, so we ain't really had no issues. No, not for real.
What about how would you explain to a white person the difference between Jewish and being an Israelite?
Oof, man, where do I start?
Like if a Jewish person walked up to you and was like, well, we the same, what would you explain to him?
Well, I would tell them, you know what I'm saying, based upon, you know what I'm saying, the Bible, you know what I'm saying, and the Torah, first of all, two totally different beliefs. They don't believe in Christ. And then I would get into, of course, the physical description of how the Bible clearly describes the Jews as being a dark-skinned people with woolly hair. They believe that what makes you an Israelite is through your mother. You know what I'm saying? And of course the Bible says through your father. You see what I'm saying? And they don't, one thing I'm gonna tell you about Jewish people that I've learned over the years, they don't really follow the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They follow the what they call it, the Talmud. You know what I'm saying? Which the Talmud is some white Jewish men got together and made up. You know what I mean? So even though they wear our shield or whatever, it's two totally different beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Like something you could not believe. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, my next line of questions, you know what I'm saying? You already know the answer to them, but I know people who watch and see you guys for the first time will want to know the answers to them. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody who may be seeing us or maybe saw you guys online, they be like, you know what I'm saying, you guys are priests, man of God.
Yeah.
How are you allowed to use swear words?
Well, okay, so swear words, you know,
or curse words or whatever.
Curse words, swear words, and of course, you know, outside of the truth, people look at it as like it's a sin to say cuss words. So it's not a sin. Now, it ain't the best speech to use, you know what I'm saying? But if you go in the Bible, the Apostle Paul, he said, I think it's 2 Corinthians 11:6, where he said, even though I'm rude in speech, yet not knowledge. So you will see us use cuss words from time to time. It is rude speech, but it's not a sin according to the Bible.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So even though Christians, they look at it and say, well, cuss words is a sin, you're not going to find that in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? And so,
For sure. Now, another thing the school teaches, you know what I'm saying, is being able to have more than one wife.
Yeah.
Now, for somebody, you know what I'm saying, oblivious to you guys' beliefs, you know what I'm saying, we just break it down. And especially in Christianity, you know what I'm saying, they with the husband wife thing, you know what I'm saying, on top of the cakes, they push that heavy, you know what I'm saying. So like, just explain for somebody who hearing or watching for the first time, how does the Bible allow for more than one wife?
Well, of course, you know, first and foremost, the Bible teaches that sex is marriage. That's number one. So that's what makes you married to a woman. Now, when you go into the Bible, you're gonna find out there's no law against a man having more than one woman. Right. You know what I'm saying? So a man, you know what I mean, a man don't have to have a wife at all, but you can't tell a man how many wives that he have to have. That's not in the Bible. And if anybody familiar with the Bible, men of God always had more. All through the Bible, you're gonna read about men having more than one woman.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's no law that states you can't have more than one woman. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Another thing that the school, you know what I'm saying, says is ISUPK is the home of the truth. You know
That's right.
So
damn right.
Do you guys look at the other camps as like related in any way, or you know what I'm saying? What's the I guess the status between the other schools and camps throughout?
Well, of course, it's been black people, you know what I mean, that have known about being Israelites. That's why I say Chicago. You had a bunch of people in Chicago that knew about being Israelites. They learned from the cat. What's them cat's name? Used to be with the Jewish people.
The Commandment Keepers?
The Commandment Keepers. You know what I'm saying? The Commandment Keepers, you know what I'm saying? They knew that black people was the Jews, but they would be with white people teaching and learning. Now, the reason why we say the home of the truth is it's a few things. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. People outside of the truth only teach that so-called Negroes is Israelites. Mm-hmm. That's why you see this brother sitting next to me. He's a so-called Native Indian from the tribe of Gad. Mm-hmm. So when it come down to revealing who that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians is the Israelites, the ISUPK started that. Mm-hmm. Right. You see what I'm saying? Then when you get to teaching on the street, getting a podium out on there, going into the Bible, you know what I'm saying? The UPK started that. This is where it started at. Nobody else could. Nobody got records or could show that they did that before the ISUPK. Mm-hmm. And so when it come to other Israelite groups, you got to remember during the 80s and the 90s, the ISUPK had blew up big on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of these Israelite groups that you see that do something similar to what we do, mm-hmm. These is cats that some leader that used to be in the UPK left the school and went and started that group. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So now you got, I'll just name a few. IUIC, the leader that he used to be in ISUPK. GMS used to be in ISUPK. GOCC used to be in ISUPK. A lot of these groups, damn near every group that you see that do what we do. When I say do we do, meaning go out with the teach on the street. They all come. I would say these cats would. Man, I'm getting tongue tied. You know what I'm saying? But they peoples was in the ISUPK at one point in time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, so are they like excommunicated after that? Is it like thievery, or what's the vibes from the school when a brother does that, like leave and make his own camp?
Yeah, well, it's a what you would call a heresy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible teaches that we're supposed to be one body. Right. You know what I'm saying? One faith. You know what I'm saying? One faith is one belief, one baptism, which is one teaching. Mm-hmm. The problem is when they leave the school, they teach things that's opposite of what the school teach. Right. Now, you know, they just had one of the groups, Sakari. You know what I'm saying? The leader of Sakari just came out and found out he, you know what I'm saying, is, how can I describe this?
And bent over.
Yeah, he getting pegged by his woman. Now, Sakari is, you know, a well-known Israelite group, you know what I'm saying? And this cat, Gorilla Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? He's a well-known Israelite cat. Come to find out, his woman...
That's the one that he...
Yeah, that's the one. Come to find out, his woman strapping a dildo...
That's a big dude, right?
Yeah, big light-skinned guy. She strapping the dildo and got him face first, ass up, tearing him up every night with this dildo, okay? And so this is the reason why we tell people, if it's not the ISUPK, it is not the truth. You see what I'm saying? Commander Jenny Hunter has a stellar record. He been in the truth since the 80s. He been teaching this truth for about 50-odd years. So, you know, when it comes to the Israelite world, it's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, all of us in the same body, not this school over here, this church, Israelite church. That's confusion. We already got the confusion in the Christian church. A million different churches, they all believe something different. We in Christianity or Islam, or we in some different. That's confusion. Black people we can't afford to be in a state of confusion, especially in this day and time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we supposed to be all with one belief. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, with the school having a school in Chicago,
Yeah.
and with all the things, different ailments of Chicago, is fixing Chicago a goal, or is it just the people, or is it, you know what I'm saying? Do you just live in Chicago? Like, what's the vibes as far as, you know what I'm saying, fixing?
Well, you know, when I look at Chicago, I don't think, you know what I'm saying, I don't think the physical city in itself. I think the my people that's in Chicago, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You know what I'm saying? That is our goal in the ISUBK, to fix those people. And how you fix black people, man, is one brother, one sister at a time, changing how they think. You see what I'm saying? That's what really gonna fix. People think that you could fix. We done been through 500 years of trauma living in America, and people want to run to money. People, you know, everybody always talk about money, and think that, or trying to join America, trying to get more degrees. People think those are the ways that you gonna fix black people. You see what I'm saying? When that ain't the way. How long we been getting degrees in this place? How long we been getting money in this? Ain't neither one of them things changes. What's gonna change us is the truth. You understand? Our culture. You know what I'm saying? Our religion. I mean, not our religion, but our culture, how we think, how we deal with one another, the law, statutes, and commandments. This is what's going to fix us. Not money. Money is good to have. I ain't saying don't get money. That's cool. But you can't displace the morals. A lot of people want to, you know what I'm saying, get to the money and get a degree, and that's cool. That's it. But, you know what I'm saying, but we ain't got no morals. You know what I'm saying? These brothers out here killing themselves. You don't know how to teach black men, you know what I'm saying, and Hispanic men on how to stop killing themselves. How do you do that? You got to give them their identity back. Dude, if you don't know your identity, brother, you don't know the roadmap to success. It's like you in the damn, you know what I'm saying, in the damn, you know, in a trap. Damn near. They call it the trap. You know what I'm saying? You in a damn maze. You trying to get out the maze, but you ain't got the roadmap to get out the maze. You understand? And so the Bible is the roadmap for us to get out that maze. You see what I'm saying?
So
good.
What is the school's stance on? We just recently had a new president.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What is the school stance, you know what I'm saying, for anybody watching and listening on politics? Do you guys get involved to like do like the swing votes, or to select who you want for the alderman, and you know what I'm saying? Like, do you guys get into that at all?
Well, we don't vote at all. We don't get into politics at all. We believe the Democrats and Republicans, that's white people's business.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So what we teach is, Jenny Yohana said this, and I love saying this quote, we don't worry about, you know, who in the White House. We don't worry about trying to get no black man in the White House. We worry about trying to put a black man in every black house. You see what I'm saying? Like, we dealing with a people and a culture that, you know, broken homes is the norm. So, you know what I'm saying, you know the success rate of what happened to children and the trauma they suffer from growing up in a broken home. So we try to focus on putting that father back in that house with that woman, and that man and that woman being in the same mind to raise these children under the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for so long, you know, we've tried to avoid, you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna say we even tried to avoid, but for so long, black people ain't really served the Most High. Right. We ain't really served God. Like, being in the church, that ain't serving God. You see what I'm saying? Like, when you got to go learn about your God, that's what we teach. We didn't learn about everybody else's God. Christianity, that's the white people. Christianity is the white man's God. That's their belief. Then we done ran over to Islam. You know what I'm saying? Islam is the Arabs' God. That's their belief. Then we ran to try to be Pan-African. The Africans ain't our people. That's they gods, they believe. Who is the God of the niggas? And when I say niggas, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. So-called Negroes, Jamaicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, these people. You know what I'm saying? Where is our God at? Right. And in the ISUBK, we found them.
Right.
So
You know what I'm saying?
now one of the things, you know what I'm saying, that I know strike a lot of people when they find out about the school is about Africans. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
if you could just explain for the viewers and listeners, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people think, you know what I'm saying, we're African, that we come from Africa, you know what I'm saying? And if you could just explain the school's take on it.
Yeah, well, the school stance is that, of course, we not Africans, that we Israelites. African and Israelites are two totally different people. And that'd be a shock, you know what I'm saying, to a lot of people. Even for me, I thought we was Africans the whole time. Even my research.
Me too. I got African tatted on me.
You know, I mean? So we all been taught that. So even my research, when I researched, when I told you earlier who are black people, I'm thinking it's gonna take us to some tribe in Africa. That ain't what happened. It took me to us being Israelites. And so when the school taught me that, and I started learning that, I had to then reflect on my coming up in America and being around Africans. And I said, well, it all makes sense because they don't fuck with us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, anybody will tell you about the North Side, it's probably the most multicultural of Chicago. So I grew up around African, and they ain't never fooled with us, man. And so when I learned and said that we two totally different people, I say this all makes sense, that these people sold us into slavery, because we live amongst them now and they barely speak to you. I remember coming out when I was young, when my cousins and them had moved to Iowa. We went to Iowa, and I remember we was all coming out the house one day, and there was some Africans going into the building. We coming out, and we thinking they black people like us. And I remember we speaking to, hey, what's doing? The motherfuckers looked at us like this, brother, and kept it moving. And things like that stuck in my head. And then when I learned the truth, I say, oh, it makes sense. These ain't our people. And I had a job I was telling you that I lost right before I moved to Philly. The lady who hired me, that building that I worked in, I had ran into an African lady one day, a Nigerian woman, and I said, well, let me test this out. I was young and the truth. I said, let me test this. So I was helping her move. I was a security for the building, so I'm helping her move to her apartment, and she kept calling me brother. Now I knew she was from Nigeria. She kept calling me. Finally I say, as I'm helping her move, I say, well, me and you ain't the same people, right? And she said, huh? I say, man, you ain't the same people. She said, first she tried to play it off. No, yes, we black. I say, no, we not the same people. I say, we both dark. We two totally different people. You are African, I'm an Israelite. Your people sold my people into slavery. She said, what? Then she finally gave up. She was like, I know. I remember like it was yesterday. She was like, I said, oh, so you know that we told and your people sold my people in slavery. She said, I know. It was one of them I knows like go ahead. It was one of them I knows like yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, we sold you into slavery, like her admitting to something horrible.
You caught her in the lie.
I called her in the lie. But she was at first trying to play like she was one of us, and I stood on it, and I seen her flip. And I done talked to so many Africans out that done told me to my face, oh, I know we ain't the same people. But this is what they teaching us in America, that your own people sold you into slavery, when that is a total lie. You see what I'm saying? You want to say something about?
No.
You know what I mean? So it's a total lie. Yeah, man.
Now, you talked about the first time you went to the Passover, it was 30 people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now it's fireworks and what I'm saying, stages and stuff like that. So if you could just talk to, what I'm saying, since you were not from the beginning, but you seen like the rise is taking over. Like, I was online the other day and I was watching ISUPK in England.
Yeah, for sure. Big shout out to
you could just talk about like how did it explode like that? Because I know it had an explosion back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's all over again. It's exploding everywhere.
Well, what happened was the school was huge.
What's it any way you want to?
The 80s, and I think the 90s, the school got real big, and then the year 2000, it was a lot of brothers that split from the school.
And Y2K.
Yeah, around 2000. And so Commander General Hanna was the only brother left in the school. Him, General Muhammad, and General Mayak, and General Hanna's sister was the only 4 people in the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so I
It was only 4 people?
Only 4 people after the year 2000. You know, I can't tell you the particular year, but after the year 2000, everybody left the school, started them fake camps.
That's crazy.
And all that. You know what I'm saying? It was General Hanna left, General Muhammad, and General Mayak, and General Hanna's sister. I can't think of the sister's name. So yeah, basically them 4. And so they rumbled and warred. And I came in 2011. And those brothers that had came in some years before that, maybe around 2008, 2009, 2007, Captain Bashak. So when I came into the school, it was really just Philly and DC. It was really the only schools, and it was maybe a brother, I think Azania, and one was Syracuse, and then another brother in Florida. It was like specks of brothers, you know, here and there, but it was real small at that time. And so we warred. I remember being in the school for 2 years, man. We warred and we got it on, and whatever we had camp in Philly, camp in Times Square. But we looking like, man, there's only a few of us in here. We used to be looking like, man, anybody else coming in here? You know what I'm saying? And I remember one council we had up in Philadelphia. General Hanna walked into this council and he said, man, listen, I know, you know, what it looked like or whatever is rough. You know what I'm saying? There's a few of us in here. He said, but trust me, these brothers and sisters is coming. I guess he kind of read everybody's spirit like, man, you know what I'm saying? Anybody else coming in here? He must have read our spirit, and he came in and encouraged us that brothers and sisters was going to start coming into the school. And I think it was right around that time, right before I went back to Chicago, we started having camps in Harlem. And we had some amazing camps in Harlem. And a lot of people, I know this tape, it's out called Africans Gone Wild. This particular camp, you know what I'm saying, some Africans came and was coming up against the camp. Well, from that tape there, it blew up on social media. You know what I'm saying? And I can remember after that, brothers from everywhere just started coming into the school. You know, then I moved back. Then we started, right when I moved back, brothers from different cities in the Midwest started popping up. St. Louis, Captain DeGargobar, he called me. Captain LeBon, you know what I'm saying, from Detroit, he called me. Who else we had? I had Kunayala up in Minnesota, Kaposh in Indianapolis, you know what I mean? So different Midwest cities just started, just one brother, you know what I'm saying, but it started to grow.
For sure. Yeah. It definitely exploded. Yeah, and I had came across it watching Polite on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Polite on the Breakfast Club. And then he was up there talking that shit, and then afterwards I'm like, I'm still want to, you know what I'm saying, dig into it. And then he bumped in the cap, and then it was over from there.
Well, you know, that brother, you know what I'm saying, he I don't know if he a brother or heathen or not, but you know what I mean, he came against the camp real vehemently. Him and Captain Tazaryak had some battles. And of course, Captain Tazaryak, you know what I mean, used to tell it, you know what I mean, used to get with the brother. And I think that helped add to people, you know what I mean, examining the school.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? First it just be like people just examining what we was doing. And then after a while, people start joining. You know what I mean? So I would say Polite is definitely a cat that, you know, the Lord used to build the school, you know what I'm saying? Even though he ain't never been in the truth or none of that, but I believe his Captain Tazaryak's battles with that brother helped bring popularity to the school.
Do you think, you know what I'm saying, the way he was trying to come at the school back then got anything to do how he ended up?
Oh, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because the brother was, he was real proud. I'll never forget, he made a video of him taking a gun and shooting through the Bible. You know what I'm saying? He also made a tape. He brought one of Captain Tazaryak's wives and had her telling a bunch of lies on the brother. You know what I'm saying? He did that. And he just used to always talk crazy about the school and this, that, and other, because up until that point, you know, everybody looked at this cat as like the one with the knowledge. You get me right on this. But when he came up against us, he just couldn't, you know, he couldn't do it. Captain Zaryak had a bait with him, and it was ugly. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Does the school have like views or any opinions on brothers who think that they're, you know what I'm saying, doing the right thing for the people, who got their heart in the right place, but just might not be in the truth, like, you know, like Umar Johnsons and stuff like that? What's the views on brothers like that?
Man, brothers like Umar Johnson, and there's tons of brothers out there, you know what I'm saying, that's not in the ISUBK, that's doing a ton of stuff for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. That's doing positive things. The problem is, you know what I'm saying, we gonna need something. How can I say? We gonna need to get on the same page.
Right.
It's cool to have good programs, and it's cool to, you know what I mean, do things for black people. I ain't knocking none of that. But okay, we in some very serious times right now.
Right.
Okay, you see Hitler's in the White House. You know what I'm saying? And his whole premises is white supremacy.
Right.
That's what he about. And when by his premises being that's making these white people get very aggressive. And it's, you know, according to the Bible, it's biblical prophecy that the third world war is basically is gonna happen.
That's right.
And in the midst of the third world war gonna happen, what else you gonna have? Race wars. You know what I'm saying? So seeing that we headed towards race wars, it's time for black and brown people to come together. You see what they doing with the Hispanics now. So it's cool to do them little programs, and we don't knock people. We come together, you know what I'm saying, with brothers that's doing positive things. But brother, we gonna need something stronger. You know, I can give you something. I can give you something to drink, you know what I'm saying, some wine, you know what I mean? And that wine, I'm trying to give it to you a metaphor, you can understand that wine is cool, but no, I'll give it to you like this. Say you sick, and I give you some medicine that slightly take away, you know what I'm saying, your sickness, but it don't fully take it away. So that's what them other cats that's doing, like all these cats or whatever. But you need some medicine now that's gonna fully kick that sickness out.
Right.
That's what ISUBK is.
Right.
We that medicine that fully heal you, or that's gonna fully heal our people. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
Now I know the brothers, you know what I'm saying, the school is big on keeping the laws and stuff like that. So
that's right.
Does that ever interfere with like the law of the land? Like, do you still have to like follow the law of the land? Is there any laws of the land that coincides with the laws of the Bible, or?
Yeah, well, not. We keep the, you know, as long as the laws don't influence us to break God's laws, then we keep America's laws. Meaning, I'll give you something. We pay our tax. America wants taxes. We pay our taxes. They require you when you driving to wear your seatbelt. Man, we wear our seatbelt. We even deal with the police on a professional level. You know what I'm saying? So no, we don't break none of their laws. You know what I'm saying? Now, America also believes in, you know, it's not a law, but they believe in homosexuality is okay. We don't believe that. You know, America teaches that marriage is a piece of paper and a ring. We don't teach that. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, it could be, you know, tricky in a way, but that's why we have class to where we can teach you on how to be in the right spirit with the Most High and how to deal with this place. Because a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man and woman, you got to know how to deal with this place. You know what I'm saying? That's what we teach. You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
I got a couple more questions. I'll let you brothers get up out of here.
Nah, you good to go.
Well, like the garments and the headpieces and the wrist wraps, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's is that something that you guys only wear in class and school, or do you do it at your regular slave? Like, what's the vibes on that?
Oh well, you'll see us in when we wear garments. We do it out when we teach on the street. It's priest wear. It's the apparel of a priest. So it's normally when we do priest work, you come to class, you might see a brother in the garment, or when you come to our high holy days, you'll see us in garments. Or when we teach on the street, you'll see us in garments. But as far as wearing it every day, me myself, I don't wear garments every day. But like right now, you see I got fringes. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know what I mean? You can wear the fringes every day or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah.
For sure. Now, you know what I'm saying? So another thing is I forget the exact name of the group, but they got the school categorized as a hate group.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Somebody lost.
Yeah.
some of the party law. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So does that affect, you know what I'm saying, you guys, like, any way as far as, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't know, like, getting property or, you know what I'm saying, business loans or anything? Like, does that interfere with anything?
No, you know what I'm saying? They try to, they try to put a black eye on the truth, which is it's to be expected, man. We in the truth, man. Remember, people must remember, you know what I'm saying, if you know the Bible, Christ was not loved, Doc. You know what I'm saying? The men that rolled with Christ, they wasn't loved. You know what I'm saying? Christ was a black man that taught the truth to our people during the time when the Romans was in the land of Israel ruling our land. And so it's very similar to right now. Because we so morally strong and because we serious about teaching our people their culture, of course, this society that's oppressing us is gonna make us look out like we monsters.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When we ain't got no cases against us for child molestation or murder or any. You can't find nothing on the UPK because our record is stellar. You understand? Because the Most High is with us. You see what I'm saying? So, Southern poverty law. You got people that. They try to put a black eye on the truth and say we evil, this, that, and other, but what they saying don't match what we really about. You see what I'm saying?
So if I could,
please,
Cap bringing out so heavy, because he loved to say that about the truth, about the ISUPK, because we give so much love to black and brown people. You know what I mean?
Right.
We never, unjustifiably put hands on no white person or any other nation. We even feed white people. White people come to our cookouts or come to our food drives. They want to play, we give them a plate.
That's it.
If that's what they need, that's what we give to them. Even the scriptures say, I'm paraphrasing, of course, even when you and your enemy is at war, feed him. You know what I mean? Even that you have at odds with him, give him if he needs it. And that's what and that just goes to show that the Bible could benefit and help blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans get that morality back.
That's it.
If that's hatred, what is love?
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
Now, with us being in America, you know what I'm saying, and with the explosion of the truth, you know what I'm saying, recently, within the last few years, a lot of celebrities have been saying stuff the school been saying. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like Kyrie and Kanye have his moments and stuff like that.
That's right.
How does the school view, you know what I'm saying, when athletes or entertainers take stances like that? Do you guys feel like they sending the people off or kind of put them in the right direction, or they need to get in class themselves to be able to speak on it? Like, what's the school when you see like Kyrie saying that we the Jews?
We look at it like you know what I'm saying, it's because of the work that we've been putting in that is getting out there that we the real Jews and that we the Israelites. So of course, the celebrities, they get hold of it, they not in the truth, you know what I'm saying? But what they saying, it help bring light into the truth. It make people investigate, you know what I'm saying, us being the children of Israel. So the celebrities, of course, they not in the truth or whatever the case may be. So we don't knock them, whatever. But now, by the light being shined on the truth, now you can be introduced to the real priests, the brothers who really sincere about, about doing this work. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
please, get down.
This happened during when I was coming in the truth. When the truth around 2016, 2017. Kendrick Lamar, he was really big on proclaiming he was an Israelite.
Yeah.
And I was already investigating the truth, as a young teenager, and seeing one of my favorite rappers come out and proclaiming to be an Israelite, that made me want to investigate it even more.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? Him coming out with that song DNA, humble, I'm an Israelite, don't call me black no more.
Yeah.
Even he was learning from a breakoff group.
Yeah.
That helped solidify me wanting to learn more about being an Israelite.
Yeah.
And helped me solidify myself in the truth.
And if I could just say this too, that, with the celebrities, because it's celebrities, they gonna do their celebrity, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't really their job to teach the people the truth. You see what I'm saying? And so, once again, by them bringing light, eventually we pray that people come across the ISUPK. You know what I'm saying? People should research Commander Jenny Hanna.
Right.
You know what I mean? Research that brother's name, look into the work that he's done, look into what we have done, and this is our job. This is our profession. You get my point?
For sure.
You know how like if you got your podcast, but you see somebody, they trying to be what you already are. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna knock them. You know what I'm saying? But you like for people to really come see what a real podcast is about.
Right.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? So a big shout out to Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, all them cats. But you see they, a little pressure from white people, they'll move off that shit. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language.
Would you consider it? They be trying to like end them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Damn everything but kill them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you in that world, and you can be pushed off of it because you really about the money.
Right.
When you take money and put it over morals, you ain't gonna stand on the Lord's morals when the white man put pressure. The white man can't put pressure on us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We call the white man the devil. You know what I'm saying? The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks. They can't no money push us off that. Which that's why I say this is really our job. So they help bring light to the truth, but they not in the truth. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And it's just still talking about the explosion of the school.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I'm saying? With your show, Round Table of Truth.
Don't sound crazy.
Captain Tazariak.
Damn right.
Going crazy online.
Hey,
you
shout
know
out
what
to
I'm
Captain
saying?
Tazariak.
So it's like, I know you guys are doing the truths, but you are becoming celebrities. You know what I'm saying? In your own right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So from the inside out, what has that evolution been like? Just seeing like the explosion online, and
Man,
just talk to what made you start your own show as well.
Man, listen. Well, one of the things that made me start my own show, going back to Commander Jenny Hanna, Jenny Hanna used to have a podcast. He still got his podcast, but it used to be called The Grill. And when I was living in Philly, I may have missed it maybe one show. I used to be the cat that went and got the sodas and the crackers, you know what I'm saying, for Jenny Hanna and the Journals when they was doing the podcast. So I would just be sitting right there, right across from the Journals as they doing the podcast, you know what I mean? And so that was one influence. Then Captain Tazariak and Captain Kadazar, they did Across the Line Radio. I seen them rocking that out for a couple of years. So now I'm sitting here and, I'm seeing Jenny Hanna, he got his podcast, Captain Tazar and Kadazar, they got their podcast. I say, but damn, I might as well start one, you know what I'm saying? And so they kind of helped influence me. But as far as, I just like to say, man, big up to Captain Tazariak, man. This cat is a beast with this truth eye, and he is whipping everybody ass on the internet with the truth. Which once again, if we can claim that we got the truth, right, give me right on that.
Okay.
We got to prove it, and you ain't seen Captain Tazariak take a L yet. You ain't never seen ISUBK take a L in a debate on the street teaching or nothing. At some point, you got to say, damn. They must got the truth. I need to investigate this further. You see what I'm saying? And so as far as the Round Table of Truth, man, I want to first get big up to my co-hosts, Lamar Yala, Yaradon, Iwalam, and Mayad. You know what I'm saying? Those are the brothers who host the show with me. My technical team as well, Officer Ramawan and Officer Raj Karab. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to them brothers that make the Round Table of Truth possible. Right. But what's helping the Round Table of Truth is because we in the truth. It's like any product. You know what I'm saying? If your product is really potent, so it's really, you know what I'm saying? If it's potent, if it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna sell. So with the Round Table of Truth, because our principles, you know what I'm saying, is the Bible, Most High and Christ and all that. I mean, it's the knowledge in itself is people gonna gravitate towards it. You ain't got no choice, but it's bigger than us. It's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? This right here is the Most High's work. You know what I'm saying? And when you dealing with the Most High, is the word the Lord said this. I'm paraphrasing that he said, "My word shall not go out in vain." You know what I mean? So the men in the ISUBK, we carry the word of the Most High, and it ain't got no choice but to do what it's gonna do.
For sure. Now I got a couple more questions.
For sure, let's get that.
Is there a line between like how much of the world you can like be in or take? And what I mean by that, like it's like, is it okay to
adjust myself?
Yeah, for sure. Is it okay to go to a basketball game or be a fan of a rapper? You know what I'm saying? Is that like what's the draw line? Like what's the
Yeah, man, brothers in the school, man, brothers be on Facebook all the time arguing about LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Get me right on that.
Biggie, Tupac still.
Biggie, Tupac. So brothers listen to, what we would call the world. Brothers, listen to rap, cats who rap in the world, brothers sports, all that. We still do all that, but the thing that we stand on, our surface is the truth, because even though we consider ourselves in the truth and everybody else in the world, but we still live with people in the world. At one point in time, we was in the world. You see what I'm saying? And it was because brothers stood 10 toes down in the truth that made us come into the truth. You see what I'm saying? So we can't totally alienate our people in the world. We here for them. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And I even like to say, like, I just wanted to piggyback, if I could, what he was saying, like, even like as far as white people, man, we go to work with white people.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. We say the white man the devil, but okay, here's what I want people to understand. We just love, we have an intense love for our people. But as far as dealing with white people, man, listen, I go to the fitness and I open doors for white people, man. You see what I'm saying? But all my love go to my people. And I want to say that because this is something our people got to understand this, man. Like, you don't have to love another. You can't love your people and the people that have been oppressing you for forever. Like, the Chinese is serious about loving Chinese people, even though they live here and they don't love you. They'll take your money. White people ain't, man, they don't love us, but they will, continue to soak up our money, soak up our talent, claim the different things, the ventures and stuff. They'll take advantage of it, but they don't love us, but they deal with us. We got to learn how to deal with white people, but when we go home, give all our love back to our people.
Right, come.
You understand? So I just wanted to say that.
Right.
So, just say, for an example, like a white person come to you was like, man, I apologize for what my people did in the past. You know what I'm saying? I've been reading the Bible. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And are they ever allowed to be in the school, help the school, or be friends or anything like that? Like,
well, they can't be in the school. You know what I'm saying? This school here, unfortunately, is for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians only.
That's right.
But now, as far as helping, man, we encourage white people, man. Listen, do a good gesture. You really love black people. You really sorry for what your people done did, man. Send money, pay tithes to the school. Send donations into the school. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people see us at camp. You know what I'm saying? You see white people on their knees. You know what I'm saying? Kissing our boots. That's a gesture of kindness. People looking at that as something evil. You know what I'm saying? We ain't forcing these people to get on their knees and kiss our boot. These is white people that sincerely feel sorry for the crimes that they country or they people done did against us. So that is right. It's righteous as hell for them to do that. Look at all the horrible things that they did to our people in the past and even now, and you looking at them kissing our boots like it's something horrible. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like it's disgusting when that's righteous as hell for somebody.
Black people that feel like that.
Black people, shit, we get the most pushback from black people. You know what I'm saying, about having white people kissing our boots.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Now, do you know where the boot kiss came from? How it started, or you know?
It's a scripture in the Bible that says that they pull it real quick. You know what I'm saying? It say that they kings and they queens gonna be our nursing fathers or mothers. You know what I'm saying? Meaning this. Black people, man, but by us being the chosen people, we royalty. The Lord created, I'm real fast, I'm gonna explain this. The Lord created all races. But according to the Bible, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, we supposed to be up above every race on the planet, which means we are the royal people of the earth. We the heirs to rulership on the planet Earth. And so with that being said, a person may say, well, how is it that we in slavery? Why are we on the bottom? It's because of our disobedience to the Most High. That's part of our punishment is, even though we royalty, you know what I'm saying, we basically serving the people that's supposed to be serving us. You see what I'm saying? And so the Lord's saying, well, when we start turning back to the Most High, following the law, statutes, commandments, those same people that's ruling over us, white people, well, eventually we gonna rule over them. That's what the kingdom of heaven is about. And I know you think, you people out there, you think you understand the Bible. You don't understand the Bible. The Christianity got you thinking you got to die and go to goddamn heaven. You see what I'm saying? When the Bible says heaven gonna be right here on earth. And when heaven be here on earth, it's gonna be 12 niggas sitting on the thrones according to what the Bible says. And when that happens, white people, man, they gonna listen. It's gonna be a joy. They gonna listen. When they see you walking up down the block in the future, man, they getting off that sidewalk.
Right.
It's gonna be, man, they gonna love to kiss your boots. You know what I'm saying? And right or wrong.
Oh God.
Because we the royal people. You see what I'm saying? Read that scripture for me if you could.
Come on.
Please.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
And kings shall be thy nursing fathers.
Kings shall be what?
Thy nursing fathers.
They right now, they in rulership. The Bible say they gonna be our nursing fathers, meaning they gonna serve us. Read.
And their queens, thy nursing mothers.
And that queens are what?
Thy nursing mothers.
In this kingdom, a white woman is a queen. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you look up slavery, 45% of white women own slaves. They try to separate it like it was just white men and somehow Miss Ann and the white woman was good. Nah, man. Damn near half, it was half and half. 50% of white men own slaves, 50% of white women own slaves. And they read that part again?
Come. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers.
Read.
And their queens, thy nursing mothers.
And the queens, guess what? The white woman, she gonna serve black women in the future. Read.
They shall bow down to thee.
They gonna do what?
Bow down to thee.
They gonna bow down to us. Keep reading.
With their face towards the earth.
Keep reading.
And lick up the dust of thy feet.
Lick up the what?
The dust of thy feet.
This is what the Bible say they gonna be doing. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people got a problem with us getting our boots kissed, but you really should have a problem with the Most High. You should really have a problem with God. Like when this the problem, like the thing is, when people read that Bible, they find out that God that's in that Bible is not that God that's in that church. The God in the Bible is the true living God. The God that you've been being fed in church is a damn lie.
Right.
That guy got you believing reindeers fly in the damn sky and Santa Claus is coming through your window to give you. We know that ain't real. You understand? That guy got you believing homosexuality is an acceptable lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? That guy right there got you believing that us black and white people coming together is a dream that God want when that's against the Bible. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, for sure. Now, now I know the general. You know what I'm saying? He's at the top. You know what I'm saying? But how does the ranking work? Like when you get close to the top, like does the general he be the general forever? Or does he got another rank that he goes to, or like what's
well, General Yohana is what you would call a 13 shield general. And then under General Yohana, you have General Muhammad, he's a 12 shield. General Mayak, he's a 12 shield. General who else? General Haas, he's a 12 shield. And General Shawama, I think, is a 6 shield. They 6 shields or 12 shields?
I believe 6 shield.
General Shawama will be a 6 shield. General Kathungaba, a 6 shield. And General Kabbalah Moth will be a 6 shield as well. I hope I ain't getting that wrong. You know what I mean? Then under the generals, you have captains of 13,000. That will be brothers like Captain Tar War. I'm just gonna mention a few brothers that y'all might know. Captain Mashak, 13,000. Captain Tazaria, Captain Kahamdam Yad, Captain Nakai, Captain Shapar Napash, Naya Thak. You know what I'm saying? Myself, we captains of 13,000. And then under that, you got captains of 10,000, officers of 5,000, officers of 1,000, then officers of 50, and then troopers. Yeah.
Now, another thing that kind of related to being labeled as a hate group, you know what I'm saying? People also label you guys as a cult, you know what I'm saying? I've actually like seen videos online from people who've left the school and made it seem like stuff that I know ain't true, like for a fact. Like it made it seem like it was an actual cult. So what's the school's, you know what I'm saying, response to I know what it is, you know what I'm saying? But like, how do you guys, you know what I'm saying, take stuff like that?
Well, you know what I'm saying, first and foremost, you know what I mean, we embrace it now. You know what I'm saying? We actually call ourselves cult leaders. Right. You understand? Meaning we know that the life that we live is totally different from 99.9% of what black people in America live out there. So we embrace the whole cult leader charge. Now, you know, you have different cults out there. The Christian church is a cult. You got many different cults. What are you doing in your cult? You know what I'm saying? Up in here, we keeping them laws, statutes, and commandments in here. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we embrace being different. We don't run from that. We know that we cult leaders.
Now earlier, you know what I'm saying, I asked what the people around you response was to the change, you know what I'm saying? That was early. What is it now? You know what I'm saying? Now that you captain of the whole region, you know what I'm saying? Got the shows and everything. What's their response now when they see you?
Man, when I see people I grew up with, man, a lot of them is, you know, it's cool. A lot of them is though I want to stay away from that nigga. It's still, you get my point, but where it's without them saying it. Right. I come around, they you know, they go the other way. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I know, you know, one thing about this truth is a very hard thing to accept. Like, black people still want to believe in Martin Luther King's dream. We still want to, you know, and hope that we gonna be joined into this place. And that's a hard thing to deal with, that a place you've been trying to join for so long, that they ain't gonna never accept you. That's a rough thing to deal with. So I get it. You know what I mean? Our people, you know, so when they see a person like me, I look at, you know, I'm how can I put this? You know, I'm something that they want to stay away from, because they still got hope in America. You see what I'm saying? So when they see a brother like me, he represents something I don't want to be a part of. Right. You see what I'm saying? So they you know, they keep their distance, man. I ain't tripping, man. I know, you know what I'm saying, that I know of a surety that everything in that Bible that the Lord said was gonna happen is gonna happen. Right. The UPK been teaching about the Third World War since 1969. You see what's going on. Oh. You know what I'm saying?
Now, question I got for you, brother, is, now I know the Native Americans, you know, damn near worship everything. So like, how did you find the truth? You know what I'm saying? How did you, and what was that? Was that like a culture shock to you from your background? You know what I'm saying? Or,
well, I had an uncle that was following the fake Israelite group. I was going through some things when I was younger, and I started looking for God. You know, there was a lot of death around me, a lot of negativity in my family, so I was looking for some ways, some answers, you know what I mean? And long story short, I found the Bible. The Bible really spoke to me, and I had an uncle that followed the fake Israelite group. And he the one who told me about Deuteronomy 28, and he said, hey, you should go follow these cats. I started looking them up, and in that process, that's why I started learning I was from the tribe of Gad. You know what I mean? A lot of the history and the culture, it just lines up, you know, like the fringes. My mother used to always be the one, she used to always be the one to take me to Native American ceremonies. My mother would always be the one to tell me things about the Bible that I was being taught, you know, in the Israelite world, was, you know, Jesus Christ wasn't God. She would tell me about reincarnation. She would tell me about how the Bible and religion is separate. You know what I mean? Like, she taught me this. And my mom is not a Bible believer. She is not a, you know, religious person. But she knew this just, you know, being with our elders in the Native American community. And eventually when I ran into Captain Mawaqad and the brothers in the school, you know, I'll never forget Captain DeBarmoth. He's the one who really drilled in the history that I did not know of from the Native Americans. You know, he made it like his mission to reach out to make sure I knew this history and this status of what my people were before white people came to the Americas, I should say. Damn right. And forced this culture onto us. Like, if you look at the Native American way of lifestyle, there's plenty of similarities as it is in the Bible. If you go read the diary of Christopher Columbus, when he came over here, he said so many things about these people that related to the Israelites. He thought because we knew how to bathe so well and we wore the orals just like we do nowadays, they always compliment black and Hispanic people. Oh, y'all smell so good. Y'all look so good. They thought, he said he thought we was witches. You know, he thought we was doing black magic because we knew how to shower, because that's an Israelite custom. Wash yourself, man. The way we had high holy days, you know, the way even the powwows and everything similar like that, relate back to Israelite customs. You know what I mean? The fringes, our garments, the way many Native American tribes had multiple wives. You know what I mean? Even the way they do with the priestmen and the shaman and everything like that. It goes back to Israelite way of lifestyle. But the only reason we don't know it is because we've been the same as blacks and Hispanics. Our culture has been so rearranged that we can't really see it until someone has shown it to us. When I seen it and the brothers in the ISUBK brought out the history, it just made a clear, straight path for me. You know what I mean? Like, even if you read what the biggest thing that was shown to me was, if you read in the Apocrypha, which is the books of the Bible that were taken out by the Roman Catholic Church. In 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, it talks about how the 10 tribes, which would you call the Hispanics and Native Americans, came over here to escape persecution, and later they would be found again by the heathen to be put in slavery again. Once I seen that in the Bible, I said, there ain't no debate in this. You know what I mean? The only thing is because, again, it just all goes in with what the Lord was talking about. Because we don't know who we are, because we don't know our culture, because we don't know our history, this seems like something so insane. You know, it seems like something that don't make sense because we've been taught a whole different way. The same way they tell black people they Africans in school, in the school system, they tell the Native Americans they're Asians. I don't know about you, I'm not no Asian. They don't move like me, they don't talk like me, they don't act how I act. I looked at my Native American brothers and sisters, they just move different. Everybody wants to be Native American. You talk to somebody, you know, even black brothers, you know, I'm 1/8 Cherokee, man. You know, my great grand, you see my hair, you know, I'm part Apache, you know what I mean? Because we got that love and that sound, that swagger that they don't have, you know what I mean? And that brotherhood. So it wasn't really too much of a culture shock for me, especially for me, because I grew up, you know, in the Chicagoland area. I grew up around black and Hispanics my whole life. So, but definitely when we go out to these reservations and brothers that have only experienced Native culture, it is kind of a shock, but not really at the same time, because they have that love for blacks and Hispanics as well. They have so many similarities with blacks and Hispanics. It's like, okay, you know what? I could kind of see that. You know, it's just the history part that they got to get shown, really.
Damn right.
Now, Cap, let me ask you this.
Please.
You know, we had leaders in the past with different views and different ways of doing things.
For sure.
And like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, for an example. One was non-violent, one was by any means necessary.
That's right.
My question for you in the school is, why not, you know what I'm saying, why not fight? Or do you believe in fight? You know what I'm saying? What is taught to the brothers, you know what I'm saying, on, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm pretty sure white people make you so mad you want to, you know what I'm saying, knock them out. You know what I'm saying? So what's the laws on that?
Well, what I would say is, first, you know what I'm saying, the ISUBK, I stand.
Even with them deporting our brothers, like, do you like y'all fight? Is it fight back or what?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I will definitely. The Bible says that Exodus 15:3 that God is a man of war. So we all about warfare, right? But I was thinking about this earlier. The first part of war that a warrior must fight is the war within himself first. You can't go out there and go fight a war against somebody else when you yourself ain't war with yourself. So we got to fight the war, you know what I'm saying, within ourselves first. And that war is like a you versus you. Or, you know, some person might say me versus me. Once you beat that war that within yourself, now you can focus on the war against white supremacy. You see what I'm saying? Because now your mind is healthy enough to do it. Our mind ain't healthy enough to do it. We out there gang banging against each other, calling each other ops because we sick. You know what I'm saying? Oppression make a person mentally ill. And we dealing with mental blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, brother, we dealing with mental illness like something you could not believe. From 500 years of the most intense oppression that a man has ever seen. So yeah, we about war, you know what I'm saying? But we first, you know what I'm saying, gathering the soldiers right now by getting their mind right and in the right place that they need to be. You got to war against this white man in a different way. The physical warfare is coming. Biblically, race wars is coming. You know what I'm saying? So we all about, you know what I'm saying, that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? We all about defending ourselves. When we go out there, we let people know we not Christians. We will defend ourselves at all costs, right? But with that being said, you know what I'm saying, I kind of lost my mind, train of thought, but okay, so So we about, you know what I'm saying, warring within ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to get to. The first set of war that you got to fight against white supremacy is the philosophies that he didn't put in the air that have totally destroyed us. You understand? You got to fight against that. What I mean by that is his traditions, his gods, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, his belief in homosexuality, his belief that co-parenting is okay. These different things we got to fight against. And you fight against that by living your culture. You see what I'm saying? So instead of us celebrating Christmas, we celebrate the Passover. Instead of us teaching that homosexuality is okay, we teach that a man's supposed to be with a woman and a woman supposed to be with a man. Instead of us teaching that a piece of paper is marriage, we teach our daughters sex is marriage. You understand? And, there's no such thing as divorce. You know what I mean? Once a man and a woman get together, that's for life. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the way you got to fight against the white man, is you got to fight against his philosophies that he put out on the earth. Once you do that, then, brother, later on down the line, according to the Bible, it's going to be all our race war. But you can't win no race war when we fighting against each other. Blacks and Hispanics don't even know we the same people. So we fighting against each other, fighting amongst each other, and so we totally destroy. So we got to fix that spirit first.
Right. So,
you know what I'm saying?
Now, with the Passover coming up,
yeah,
could you explain that to me? And why do some people try to make it to be like a bad thing, or like it wasn't a good thing?
Yeah, the Passover is about the Most High, you know what I'm saying, destroying the ancient. Okay, you go. Let's go back into the Bible, right? The Passover, what it's about is the Lord, you know what I'm saying, destroying our enemies at that time, which were the ancient Egyptians, right? The Lord passed over. Long as we put blood on the post of the door, the death angel would pass over us and went and killed the firstborn of the Egyptians, right? So we celebrate that in remembrance of the Lord taking us out of slavery. You understand? So that's what the Passover is about, and it's very important to remember that, because the Lord gonna do the same thing here in America, right? And the way that a Black and Hispanic and Native Indian person gonna make it out of this slavery here in America is by doing what the Lord say. Now that blood, it ain't the blood of a lamb no more. Now that blood represent Christ. Christ giving his life, you know what I'm saying, for us to have a second opportunity to come back to the Most High. You know what I mean? So, brother, the Passover is I don't want to be long-winded, but the Passover is very important because it's our culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When we ain't sitting there in Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying, celebrating, a feast about the white man murdering the North American Indians. We sitting there having a feast about what God did to destroy our ancestors' enemies in the past.
That's right.
The Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Now, do the brothers in the school sin?
No. Now, brother, let me say this. Brothers come in to the school, you know what I'm saying, with all different type of demons. You understand? Which some of those demons are demons where they sent it, right? But how you gonna change from sin if you don't come to the place where they teach you to not sin? So you might come in, man, listen, I didn't, this brother, man, he get tested this too. A lot of brothers come in our class high as a kite. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the brother, and I can see the brother is obviously high as a kite. I still got to teach him, because that me teaching him is what's going to cast that demon off of that brother, right? So you might come in, that's a heavy question, because a lot of people don't come into the truth because they believe they got to come into the truth and ain't doing no sin. You see what I'm saying? When that's totally not the truth. You know what I'm saying? You come into whatever demon you dealing with, you come into the truth to get that demon cast off of you. That's why I told you our warfare is a spiritual warfare. You need the brothers, you know what I'm saying? You need this brotherhood to help you cast them demons up off of you. You might have a demon where you wake up every day and you gangbang, you hate your own goddamn people. You looking forward to shooting another black man on a daily basis. Well, in order for you to get that demon cast off of you, you got to come sit in class and learn how to love your brothers.
Right.
Now, with the school getting bigger, you know what I'm saying, and growing. Like I said earlier about the school in England, and I believe it's one like in the Caribbean as well.
Yep.
Like, are those if you know, do those schools face any, you know what I'm saying, different type of, you know what I'm saying, like problems just because they're not, you know, America, you can do whatever you want type stuff, but I know other places it might not be, you know what I'm saying, that well taken in.
Here's what I could say. All right, if you, no matter what city, state, or country you live in, when you in the ISUPK, when you in the truth, you're going to receive some opposition. And that source of that opposition, sadly enough, is going to come from your people. You know what I'm saying? Of course, white people, you know, that's whatever. But remember, when Christ walked the earth, who was Christ's biggest opposition? It was his own people. Namely, it was the religious institutions of black people during that time. The Sadducees and Pharisees. They was Christ's biggest opposition. So no matter where we at in England, Jamaica, you know what I mean, Detroit, LA, no matter where we at, our biggest form of opposition is gonna be the religious institutions of our own people. So when you facing that, you gonna have that's gonna be your biggest enemy. Before you can actually get to the enemy, which is white supremacy, you first got to fight within. And brother, that's a war that we willing to do, because just like, remember, you go back, look at the United States of America, they wasn't always united. They had a civil war. You know what I'm saying? They had a war within themselves to become what? One. So when it come to the UPK, we gonna have to go to war with our people on what they believe, or their religions that they believe. Man, we got to go to war for them, with them, in order to gain them. But like you saying, the truth is growing because we going to war with our people about what the fuck they believe. Excuse my language, but brother, this is you know, this war language here. You know what I'm saying? Like when you in the ISUPK, brother, you a brother that's serious about this work of the Lord. You willing to, when you come in here, you got to be willing to die. And that's what I love about the truth. Brother, I found something that's willing to die for.
That's right.
I never joined the gangs because I seen the bullshit that was in the gangs.
Right.
I seen cats who was in the same gang, they fucking each other women. You know what I'm saying? Cats that's in the same gang, they selling each other parents drugs. You see what I'm saying? Cats in the same gang who grew up with each other, you killing the cat that you was in kindergarten with.
Right.
So I said, I ain't joining none of that. That shit wasn't real to me. But when I came across this UPK, I said, this is real here. A man can hold on to his masculinity, still be a soldier, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But in the right spirit. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah, right.
Well, I definitely appreciate your time, man. I think this was a big one. This was a big one for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Cause you're a leader. You're a leader, and
appreciate that.
For sure in the school, but definitely in our community. You know what I'm saying? So
Christ.
I appreciate you coming up here sharing your story. Before you get up out of here, let the people know where they can where they can get in class, where they can watch the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Where pass over all the information they need.
Yeah, well, I would first say no matter what city it's thick, 'cause I know your broadcast reach everybody. If you want to find the ISUPK in your city, go to isubk.com. And you find all the information about our Passover, all the events we doing. You can go there, look up ISUPK on YouTube, look up ISUPK on Facebook, all your social media sites. Search ISUPK, search Commander Jenny Yohana. Now, as far as Chicago, the way to get in contact with us, our Facebook page is ISUPK. What? Get me right.
Windy City, sir.
ISUPK Windy City. You go there. You know what I'm saying. Our contact information on there, phone number on there. You know what I'm saying. As far as the podcast, Roundtable of Truth, you go to YouTube, put in ISUPK Roundtable, Roundtable of Truth. You know what I'm saying. We on YouTube. We on Instagram. TikTok, everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm missing something as far as getting in contact with us.
You look us up on Google as well to get directions to the school. Our phone number on there as well.
Yep.
And all same for the Chicago pages, ISUPK Shy, ISUPK Windy City on all programs, all apps. You look us up and we on there.
Yep. I think all you gotta do is go to Google and put ISUPK Chicago, and our numbers will come up, direction to the school, everything. You be in the game.
Well, I definitely appreciate you brother's time. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, right.
Rap.
Hey, for sure.